Good morning, everyone. My name is Richavi Ramo Piquero, your presenter for today. My chosen article is all about temperature effects and the distribution of two invasive tilapia species, Tilapia zili and Oriocomis niloticus, in the rivers of the South China. The authors of this article are Dong and Gua et al. This paper is about competitive interactions that only exist between invasive and the native fish species, but also between different invasive species, tilapia, Tilapia zili, and Oriocomis niloticus, are the common invasive tilapia species in the rivers of the South China. There may be a specific factors that influence their competitive interactions and disturbance patterns, and temperature has been considered the most important factor. In fish communities, successful invaders may outcompete native species of food and habitat, which affects the native species habitat selection, food choices, and apparent survival. In many cases, invasions by alien species involve multiple closely related fish, such as different Asian carp or the tilapia species. However, less attention has been given in the competitive interaction between the different alien. Tilapia comprise a group of the freshwater fish that are among the most common invaders worldwide and had become the dominant species in many rivers in the South China. When niche overlap leads to immediate and intense competition, Nile tilapia tends quickly gain the competitive advantage because of its large size and fast growth. In China, Nile tilapia and its hybrids account for more than the 90% of its aquaculture production. Distributed tilapia species in the South China. On the other hand, red-bellied tilapia or the tilapia zili is not a common Nile tilapia in Chinese because it is smaller and grows more slowly. However, this species can tolerate colder waters and has bigger breeding and survival rates. Thus, natural populations had been developed in many rivers in the South China. Red tilapia has less niche overlap with Nile tilapia than other tilapia species, which indicates that there may be certain conditions that mediate their competitive interactions. Red-bellied tilapia was shown to tolerate colder temperatures than Nile tilapia. Thus, Nile tilapia are able to survive well at 15 Celsius, but only 13% survive when temperatures drop to 10 Celsius. The current study focuses on the temperature effects of the distribution patterns and competitive interactions of these two invasive tilapia species. This study evaluated how temperature might mediate the distribution of these two invasive tilapia species in the rivers of the South China. The abundance of fish communities and the relative degrees invasiveness of these two tilapia species, for example, weight and numerical ratios, were investigated in the rivers of the South China, where natural tilapia population has been established. Next, we have the methods. Distribution patterns of Nile and red-bellied tilapia. According to surveys, They are carried out of the 22 sites where natural tilapia population has been established in the Guangdong province, Guangxi province, and Hainan province, South China, which we can show in figure 1. The 22 sites were located along the main streams of large rivers of South China, namely the Sijiang River, Bijiang River, Dongjiang River, Zhenjiang River, Muyangjiang River, Hanjiang River, and many more. The study area has a subtropical climate with mean temperatures between 19 Celsius and 25 Celsius, and mean annual rainfall of 1,400 to 2,400 mm in the Guangdong Province Meteorological Service Network. Hainan latitudes and the minimum winter temperature at the size ranges from 10 Celsius to 18 Celsius. According to the meteorological record and the temperature record in the January 2017, when latitude increased, the minimum winter temperature significantly decreased in the Guangdong province. Next, we have influence of low temperature on mortality. To study the relationship between the temperature and the mortality of the two target tilapia species, experiments were carried out of 5 to 25 in last September 2016 in the laboratory at the Pearl River Fisheries Institute, Chinese Academy of the Fisheries Sciences, Guangzhou City, Guangdong Province, China. The samples of the two tilapia species were obtained from the Lixik River, Guangzhou City, with 2 weeks prior to start of the experiment, and 100 individuals per species were caught. Prior to the experiments, the tilapia individuals were kept in the large glass tanks with water from one lake of the Pearl River Fisheries Research Institute. Next, we have the mortality. Individuals of the two tilapia species were transferred in the 2 glass tanks that each contained 25 liters of water. With that tank, each tank contained 5 individuals, and 5 Nile tilapia and 5 red-bellied tilapia were used in these experiments. The 2 tanks were placed in the climate-controlled chamber in which the temperature was adjusted from high to low to simulate the natural temperature changes that occur during winter months. During the 2-week acclimation period, ambient temperatures surrounding the tanks were lowered to 26 Celsius to 18 Celsius each day. During the experiment, the ambient temperatures around the tank were lowered to 20 Celsius to 12 Celsius at dusk. The temperature rose and fell at a constant speed, which is consistent and the temperature records of the northern sites in the winter. All treatments were replicated 3 times. When it comes to its lethal time production, the 2 tilapia species were transferred in a 1 big glass tank which contained 60 liters of water. The square big tank was divided to 2 parts by a glass pane, and each part contained 20 tilapia, 10 Nile tilapia, and 10 red-bellied tilapia. The big tank was placed in a climate-controlled chamber in which has the temperature maintained under 14 Celsius. The time of death of each individual was recorded, and all treatments were replicated 3 times. In these lethal times of the 2 tilapia species were predicted by the proved analysis using SPSS 16. Next, we have the competitive interaction. To assess a competitive interaction over food between the two tilapia species, controlled experiments were carried out in an artificial glass tanks from 30 of January to 14 of February 2018 in the laboratory at the Pearl River Fisheries Research Institute, Chinese Academy of Fishery Sciences, Guangzhou City, Guangdong Province, China. For the result, when it comes to the distribution patterns, the total catch from the 22 sites was 3,186.54 kg and 23,257 samples were collected. So in figures 3 and 4, we can see the mortality of these two invasive species, Tilapia zili and Orchomis niloticus. So the temperature experiment results further confirm that red-bellied tilapia can tolerate lower temperatures than Nile tilapia. In figure 5 and 6, we can see that there is a competitive interaction. In there, the competition experiments, growth, did not differ between the two tilapia species. However, there was significantly less growth of the red tilapia. The next part is the discussion of the paper. Introduction of tilapia and other invasive species has harmed native fish populations and reduced biodiversity, according to Kanuneko et al. 2005. Research in regions where tilapia species had been introduced revealed that tilapia pose a high risk of invasion in the most areas and even caused the extinction of the native fish species because of the competitive displacement. However, a very little published work exists on the competitive interactions between different tilapia species. The results of the laboratory experiment also indicated that red-bellied tilapia can tolerate the temperatures in the lower temperatures than Nile tilapia. Nile tilapia had higher mortality rates than red-bellied tilapia at a sustained extreme low temperature 12 Celsius, which can be shown in the figure 6, and sustained low temperature 14 Celsius, which can be seen also in the figure 7. In conclusion, the results of the study revealed that the distribution of gnawed and red-bellied tilapia may be mainly determined by winter temperatures. Red-bellied tilapia increasing with increasing latitude because it can tolerate colder temperatures than Nile tilapia, whereas Nile tilapia increase in the southern rivers because there is extreme minimal temperature limitation and they are the stronger competitors. Other ecological characteristics and the genetic factors may also influence the respective distribution of these species and should be examined in the future studies. Moreover, aquaculture, release habitat destruction, and water pollution may also affect the competitive ability of different tilapia species. That is all about. I've got informations on the article. Thank you very much. Stay safe and God bless.